we're going to do carrier battles, and we're going to do it again because the first time I did it, as some of you found out before I deleted it, I posted a video that had no audio. For some reason, occasionally Windows changes the default on my mic, and then I end up recording without sound. And I've tried to get in the habit of looking to make sure it's got sound, but sometimes I don't notice it. So carrier battles, while not based on any specific board game, is kind of like comes out of a grand tradition of War in the Pacific games like Midway and CV from back in the 70s and 80s to others. And what we're going to do is we're going to play the Battle of Coral Sea, which I realize you can't see because I'm blocking it, but we're going to play the Battle of Coral Sea here. The first carrier battle in the world. The Japanese are attempting to invade Port Moresby, and I'm going to play as the allies. We'll kind of talk through the game a little bit as we go, but it's pretty self-explanatory. So my job is to intercept the Japanese and prevent them from landing at Port Moresby, possibly disrupt the Japanese fleet at Tulagi. From experience, I know that's not going to happen. So here is the map that we're looking at. I have 3 air bases in this game. I've got Port Moresby up here. And it's got a group of planes, a lot of which are going to be on search duty. I've got 2 bases down here in Australia, Townsville and Cairns. They don't play a huge role in this, but they can provide a little bit of help. Then I've got 3 task forces out here. I've got this group that has mostly cruisers, and it's steaming its way to Port Moresby, and it'll continue to do that because it's going over there in case I can intercept the transports. And then I've got a task force with Lexington and a task force with Yorktown, my carriers. And I know the Japanese are going to be coming from somewhere over here, kind of from this area down. So I'm going to be sort of heading up that way to try to kind of intercept them. This is Tulagi. The Japanese are building a base there. Now, it says possibly disrupt them there, but that I'm pretty certain isn't going to happen. So what we're going to start by doing is we're going to start by just getting our task forces moving where we want them to go. And I'm going to just let the cruiser task force is going to continue to go there. Now, my carriers are a little spread out, so I have to be a little bit careful. So I'm going to actually change a little bit of where this guy is going. My goal is going to be to try to keep him in this sort of cloud cover. As he sort of attempts to locate the Japanese. If he stays in cloud cover, maybe he won't get detected. Meanwhile, I'm going to get this other task force just moving up to kind of join him as quickly as possible. It's midnight, so there isn't any air operations going on. So I'm going to just advance time a bunch here. I'm going to advance, we'll just advance 3 hours here because nothing is going on. And sometime around like 5 a.m., we'll start looking at air operations. All right, so I've kind of come out a little bit more than I wanted to of the cloud cover. So I'm going to change his course a little bit to try to keep him a little bit more in that cloud cover. That guy remains fun. So we'll advance an hour here. And I'm going to advance one more. Let me just actually, I think I'm going to change him again. Again, I'm trying to keep him in this. Got to get him in and keep him in that cloud cover if I can. Okay. I'm going to advance one more hour to 5 a.m. So now we can start looking at air operations. And so let's start with Moresby. So this is our air operations, and I'm going to get a group of searches going. And so the first one, I'm going to have kind of going in that arc. You can see that arc there. And that's kind of a long search. This is a little bit of a shorter search. I'm going to have it go in the same pattern. But this one is going to go out 32 hexes. This one will only go out 20 hexes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take and I'm going to put these bombers on this long search. And I'll put these, I think I'm just going to leave that for now. I want to hold on to my dive bombers. I don't want them to get damaged searching such that I can't use them if I find the task force. And then I'm going to I'm going to switch to grab one at a time. I'm going to get 2, 3, 4. I know I'm going to see some air attacks here, so I'm going to get 4 of those guys going. And I click on these. Oops. I click on that so that they'll just kind of keep doing this search, or keep doing that mission. So these guys will keep sort of rotating up on CAP, and these guys will keep rotating through the search. So now I'm going to switch to Townsville. Now, Townsville is way too far out of the way to be of any use, but I do know that in previous games I have seen some air attacks on cairns. So realistically, what I'm going to do at Townsville is I'm going to set up what looks like a strike. But really what it's going to be doing is it's going to be transferring these planes over to cairns. I don't think these P-39s can make it, but I'm going to put them in a second strike just to see if maybe they can make it. Oh, they can make it. Okay. I think maybe they can't make it if they're in a bigger group because they have to kind of wait to form up. So I'm going to basically just transfer stuff from Townsville to cairns where it'll be more involved in the action. Now, let's look at the carriers. So let's start with, I got to make sure I'm getting the right ones here. So let's start with this carrier. And I'm not a big fan of where he's positioned right now, but we're going to have to live with it, I think. So what I'd like to do is get a search that kind of goes out that way and up that way going with him. So this is the Yorktown. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get 3 F4Fs on cap duty, carrier air patrol duty. And then I'm going to get a 10 hex search going. It's going to go, I don't think that's wide enough. It's going to go in that kind of direction. And I'm going to put all 3 of my torpedo bombers on that. Actually, you know what? Let's put 3 of my dive bombers on that. And I'm not going to set them to just keep doing it because I like to try to maybe think about getting these guys involved. If I can find him, I might get them involved in an airstrike. I'm not going to do anything yet with Lexington. He's way too far out for it to be effective. So we're just going to have him keep kind of moving towards the battle. But I am going to change him a little bit to have him get a little bit more kind of in the same area as my other carrier. Okay. So now I've got my air operation set up. So as we get towards 6 a.m., that all should start happening. So what you can see, you'll begin to see some of this going on. So this is the cruisers, but they have some float planes. So they've sent out like a broad search pattern here. I don't know that I can actually affect this, but they're just searching around. You can see. This is the group that's heading out from Townsville, heading out there. And I don't think my Moresby guys have gone yet. And you can see the search pattern from Task Force 17 is kind of going out. It's those blue hexes. So I'm now going to slow down a little bit how fast I go here. This weather is clearing up. That is really not good. I'm going to find myself. Ooh, I hate that when it does that. It always does that. I'm going to find myself a little susceptible to being found if I'm not careful. Okay, so we're going to advance again. So now we have actually located a task force, and it's telling me that it has 1 to 2 carriers. I don't know that, that's initial intelligence, but it is kind of right about where I would expect to find the carriers. So now the question becomes, I wonder if I could get a strike onto him. It might be a little challenging. So I'm going to adjust his path again. Because I'm going to look at launching an airstrike at him. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to keep him in this sort of bank of weather here if I can. I'm going to see what happens if I were to launch an airstrike at them. So the TBDs may not be able to make it. So let's see what happens if we do this. And we're going to choose that, and we're going to do this. And only 85% of them would end up making it back. So I think that that's a little bit dicey for right now. So I'm gonna hold off for a second on that. And hope maybe he gets a little bit closer to me. I haven't been spotted yet that I can tell. Okay, so now that I've moved a hex, let's see if anything has changed here. And now that I've moved a hex, it's possible that I might just go for it. So let me see. Can I wait for them to finish their... I'm going to take these guys off of the... Oh, I'd had them off of that anyway. I think these guys are landing. So I'm going to wait one more little turn here. I'm hoping those guys will end up down here in the hangar. So let's look. I got to get this search going again. So I needed to go out kind of that way. So I need to get a search back in the air. I wonder what would happen. Let's see. This is a little nerve-wracking having to wait here. Okay, well now, I've gotten more intel. And there's an enemy scout over my Task Force 17, and I've gotten a little bit more here. And it does look like it has carriers, so I really need... Oh, these planes are killing me. What are you doing? I don't want you doing that. All right, we got to go anyway. We got to get a strike going. I was hoping to get these planes back for that strike, but it just ain't happening. So we're gonna look at what happens if we send this out with the torpedo bombers. All right, 95% of them will get back. The 5% that won't get back is probably the torpedo bombers. But I'm going to take a chance, and we're going to launch that airstrike. Now I've got it says that I've got a plane over me. So what I'm going to do to sort of like increase my odds of getting those guys back is I'm going to move a little bit towards that task force. And this guy, I'm just going to extend how far he's traveling now that I kind of know where the enemy carriers, or I think I know where the enemy carriers are. All right. So, and I've also got some troop transports spotted out here. So let's see. That's a possibility. But no, it isn't, because I've got all these guys on search. So I'm going to leave that for now. That's just such a long range attack. Actually, I'm going to just take these guys off. So when they come back, hopefully they'll stop, and we might be able to launch an airstrike against that guy. All right, let's see how this plays out now. So my Guys are in the air. I don't know where the search planes went. Okay. So he is there now. He's not moving, but I'm actually kind of okay with that. I'm just going to sit in that little rain squall. And hope for the best here. There's an enemy scout over Task Force 11, so he may have me spotted down here as well. Oh, that's not Task Force 11. Sorry, that's Task Force 11. Okay, so did forget to do stuff here. So we got to get CAP up here. So let's get combat air patrols up over that task force so that we aren't caught unaware. I'd love to see, why is this airstrike not launching? 20 minutes, it says. 20 minutes. All right, and there's my search SBDs have come back. I feel like I should get them back out on a search pattern. But I'd also love to hold them back in case I need to for a second airstrike. Now, I'm really gotten close to this guy now, so I'm not that worried about my planes making it back. What I am worried about is getting found. So I'm going to start backing him up. I think this is still too far away for an airstrike. We're going to just check it real quick. Yeah, 31% of my planes would return. That's not nearly close enough. So we're going to hold off on that. All right, my airstrike is now in the air. So let us see what happens with that. Gonna adjust him just a little bit. Get him more like there. All right, so we should have an airstrike soon. Enemy scout spotted over Task Force 44, 17. So he's got scouts over me, over pretty much all of my task forces at this point. All right, so we have found his carriers. He has a lot of combat air patrol up, so this could be interesting. So he comes in first, and let's see how much he breaks apart my formation. So aborted and damaged, but I still have 7 planes coming in. And that looks good. I probably took out that carrier. There's a very good chance that took out that carrier. It's smoking. I saw it hit like maybe 4 or 5 times. Hit by 4 bombs, major fire. So there's a very good chance that I just sunk one of his carriers with an early strike. Okay, so now I just have to kind of hope that he is not... I'm going to actually change course with this guy. He seems to be moving away from me. We're going to kind of get out here a little bit more with this guy. I'm also thinking maybe he'll be searching in here, so maybe he won't really sort of spot that guy. Okay, I've lost contact over here. So let's see. I got these guys back. So let's get this search going again. We're going to do the shorter version of it this time because I know he's within 20 hexes, so we don't have to go quite as far out. I'm going to turn this guy around. I got a nice rainstorm there, so I'm going to turn that guy around to try to hopefully collect up my planes. Then I'm going to start to beat a retreat with that guy. I'm kind of surprised that he hasn't launched an airstrike yet. So planes are landing. And I'm going to assume... I can't... Oh. All right, we got a bunch of those guys. Most of them seem like they've pretty much landed. So I'm going to autopilot this kind of down this way. Put some distance between us. We'll come back at him another time. We're landing in bad... Well, landing in bad conditions. I hadn't thought about that. I'm landing in the rain. So let's see what's happened to. So I've got 3 damaged SBDs and 1 damaged TBD, it looks like. I'm going to wait just a little bit here. Ah, yeah, see, now he's got an airstrike coming in. All right. Don't know that I can get extra CAP up in time. It would take 40 minutes. Okay, he's got a couple of guys over there, a couple of airstrikes over there trying to find me. But they may have like missed me in the storm. No, they found me. So he's got 5 dive bombers and 4 torpedo bombers. All right, let's see how this goes. So our CAP comes in. Well, we confused a torpedo bomber, but I think this is going to go very badly for Yorktown here. That looks bad. He got sunk. 2 torpedoes, 2 bombs. Sunk. All right, well, that is unfortunate. But, I mean, he kind of did his job, right? I mean, he kind of did his job, which is he managed to take out one of the Japanese carriers. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to actually send these cruisers. I'm going to send this task force now that it doesn't have a carrier. I'm going to send them over here just in case they can get involved with the transports. I think they're too far away for it to really work, but we'll give it a shot. So let's see. So it's 2:20. So I do not believe that this task force is going to close enough to get an attack on him in. But let's take one look at it. Let's just take a look at it. We're going to close a few hexes. So 70% would return. And I'm going to be moving towards him. Now let's see one thing. If I were to add some escorts to that, then would it get much worse? 50%. Yeah, the escorts make it worse. So I'm going to hold off for a second here, try to close a little bit of distance. But what I'm going to do, just because I want to make sure that I kind of keep him in sight, is I've got to get my torpedo bombers. Actually, that's just 10 hexes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 hexes. They might spot them at the edge of their search. Thing is, I'm going to be too far away with those guys. I think I'm going to be too far away, I can say, with those guys to get them involved in a strike. So let's get them out on a search pattern. All right. Air to sea. Okay, well, they've got another airstrike coming in on the cruisers that were left behind. Take out that torpedo bomber. Come on. No. That looked like a miss, I think. All right, so he didn't do any damage, which is good, because otherwise that would have slowed that down. And I think this right here, yeah, that's a couple of that's my F4Fs that were on Combat Air Patrol. They're transferring over to Task Force 11. What I probably should have done was, knowing that this was going to happen, I should have gotten a bunch of my planes from this task force over to that task force to give me more forces. But I was kind of hoping. By the time I spotted the airstrikes, it was too late to do it. I should have anticipated. All right. So I'm going to advance this. Well, let's advance this 20 minutes to get to 3 p.m. And then I'm going to advance it one more hour. So now the problem is that I've lost him. That's not good. Oof. Well, I have lost track of him. That's a little nerve-wracking. All right, well, I'm not going to get anything going on, so I'm going to take these guys off rotation so that they will land. I'm going to pull these guys back because it's too late at this point. At 5 o'clock, I'm not going to get... I won't get an airstrike that would hit anything anyway. So basically, I'm going to be left with the question of where to send this guy in the evening. I could sort of race him ahead here to this weather. That's definitely a possibility. And try and, because he sort of thinks I'm over here. So if I raced ahead to over here, I might find him. I could also kind of sneak around behind, and then maybe he wouldn't find me. So I think that's what I'm going to do. Is I'm going to take this task force, and what I'm going to do for right now is I'm going to head him for right here. And then I'll sort of try to come in from behind, will be the idea. All right. Oh, no. That's an airstrike. And I took my CAP down. Uh-oh. I'm hoping that's a land-based airstrike and won't do a bunch of damage. But this could be bad if I'm wrong about that. How many airstrikes has he got there? Oh, dear. Oh, dear. Oh, I do still have CAP up. Okay, they were still up. I desperately need them to break this apart. Because if I lose Lexington here, I am in deep doo-doo. Well, he's got 2 dive bombers left. He got 1 hit. All right, that's not bad. He hit by 1 bomb. He damaged propulsion and the anti-aircraft fire. Oh no, he's got torpedo bombers now. Oh Lord, come on, CAP. All right, only 1. And that looks like a miss. Come on, break it up. I got a dive bomber coming in, and he missed. Oh, thank God. Woo, that was close. All right. That was close. That was close. That was not good. I wonder if some of that came from a light carrier that's escorting escorting the transports. All right, I'm gonna change course here because he's got me spotted on that course. All right, it's night. So I'm going to kind of advance to morning, and then we'll break there, and I'll come back and play day 2 later. I'm hoping that we can get some repairs done here, although probably not. I'm probably just going to be moving a little bit slower, but I can probably live with that. So we're going to advance 6 hours here. That didn't seem to be 6 hours. Hmm. I'm going to be sitting in a lot of good weather here, which I'm a little bit nervous about, to be perfectly blunt. So last I spotted him, he was up here, so I'm kind of assuming that he's moved into this area. So let's see. I'm going to try to get up here while sort of lagging back. I'm just trying to hopefully confuse him about where I am. I don't know why this like advanced time button extra isn't working. All right, having gotten there, now we're going to start moving in this direction. And now that we've hit 5 o'clock, I'm going to stop. So that's day 1. So basically, end of day 1, where I think we are, is I think we've got one of his carriers out of the battle. Whether it's sunk or just been disabled to the point of not being operational, I don't know. We have one of our carriers sunk. We know that his transports were over here. We got to get more searches going for his transports coming up here. We got one carrier left. And what I hope I've done is kind of snuck my carrier in behind him, and then I'll do a search kind of in this front angle, and I'm hoping that he'll be searching more in this area, and maybe he won't spot me and I will spot him, and I can get my planes launched early, take out his last carrier. Even if it costs me mine, that will probably stop the invasion of Port Moresby if I can do that. But we will come back for that next time. At any rate, it looks like I still have sound, so that's a good thing. And I hope you enjoyed this video and are enjoying this playthrough of Carrier Battles, the Battle of Coral Sea. If you are, it'd be great if you could like and leave comments. Let me know what you think. That's always really good. Also helps the channel and with the YouTube algorithm. The best thing you can do, obviously, notification bell and subscribe. That way you'll know when we produce content like this. But with that, I am going to say goodbye, and we'll see you next time on Agility Snips Gaming Table.